back to In Focus SoCal. During AANHPI month, we're shining a spotlight on elected leaders who represent and advocate for those communities across the nation. Ted Lieu represents California's 36th congressional district. In his fifth term in Congress, Representative Lieu sits on the House Judiciary Committee and Foreign Affairs Committee. Lieu was elected by his colleagues to serve as vice chair of the Democratic caucus, making him the highest-ranking Asian American to have ever served in House leadership. And in his mission to champion measures to reduce the impacts of climate change, he serves as co-chair of the California Coastal Caucus. Representative Lieu is also a veteran. He served on active duty in the reserves for the Air Force, retiring with the rank of colonel in 2021. Representative Lieu continues to lead efforts in Congress to combat ethnic and racial profiling, including discrimination against LGBTQ+ communities and hate toward the Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander communities. Representative Ted Lieu joins me now. It is a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you, Tanya. Honored to be on the show.
You immigrated to the United States with your family when you were just 3 years old, and you grew up in Cleveland. What was it like for your Taiwanese family and for you growing up in the Midwest during the 70s?
I am an immigrant, and when my parents came to America, they were poor. They did not speak English well. We lived in the basement of a person's home, and they went to flea markets to sell gifts and make ends meet. Over many years, they're able to open one gift and jewelry store in a shopping mall, and then they worked hard 7 days a week, expanded to multiple stores. But eventually, they, in my opinion, achieved the American dream. They went from being poor to a home, gave my brother and I a good education. My brother's a doctor. He still reminds me of that. And it's one reason I joined the Air Force in active duty and one reason I stayed in the reserves. But my story is not unique. It's replicated across millions of people across generations. And that's what makes America such an amazing place to be.
And as whip of the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus, are you able to push for legislation in Congress that addresses the concerns and needs of the AANHPI community?
The interests and concerns of the AANHPI community are the same as any other American. We want a good education. We want good jobs. We want to feel safe. We want lower costs. And we want to make sure that the climate crisis is addressed. So those are issues that I've worked on, both on behalf of the AANHPI community as well as for all Americans in our Democratic caucus.
Are there any particular Taiwanese traditions that your parents or grandparents taught you that you still honor?
So many people in not only Taiwan but other parts of Asia do celebrate Lunar New Year. So that is an important holiday for my family as well. And also there are specific holidays, for example, such as there's a mooncake festival, and I really like having
what does that
mooncake.
entail?
It's not very healthy, but it's a very good pastry.
It sounds good.
Yes, to try it out. And there are various cultural events that happen throughout Southern California that's put on by various Taiwanese American groups. I encourage people to search for it on the internet, and they can go to some of those activities and events.
Okay. May is also Mental Health Awareness Month, and you co-sponsored H.R. 3680, the Stop Mental Health Stigma in Our Communities Act. Why is a bill like this important, and how does it address any specific challenges the AANHPI community may face, particularly when it comes to seeking out mental health care?
Through various surveys and studies, it does turn out that there is some reticence in the AANHPI community. And so we want to make sure that all Americans, including those in the AANHPI community, can get mental health services and know that it's perfectly okay to go ahead and do that.
In September of last year, the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights released a report on the federal response to anti-Asian racism in the United States. And according to the report, hate crimes in California have been on the rise. What more do you think needs to be done to help ensure the safety of the AANHPI community in California?
President Biden has signed 2 executive orders to counter AAPI hate. And we know that there's a number of local communities that have had rallies standing with the AANHPI community against acts of hate and acts of discrimination. I think we're in a different place where people realize that it is wrong to discriminate against people who happen to be AANHPI, and that at the end of the day, all of us are Americans.
As joint leader and co-chair of the Bipartisan Task Force on Artificial Intelligence, how is the U.S. encouraging innovation to maintain the country's competitive edge while at the same time ensuring that AI does not put our national security at risk?
On the AI Task Force, we're looking at how do we harness and allow AI to innovate, keeping America at the forefront of this really important technology, but also prevent harm from coming to us. You wouldn't, for example, want to be denied a loan by an AI algorithm if that algorithm was biased for reasons that we don't even know about, or if it's biased against certain races or gender or protected classes. You wouldn't, for example, want an AI facial recognition algorithm to be less accurate for people with darker skin. So it's different situations, and how can we mitigate bias but allow AI to continue to help society?
Representative Lieu, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I know how busy you are. You're on so many different committees. And I also want to thank you for the work that you do for your constituents.
Thank you, Tanya.